There is a name that once sent shivers across the country and echoed fear through the oil corridors of power, especially in the southern heart of Nigeria, where rivers twist into the sea and oil seeps beneath the soil, lies a land of beauty and burden, the Niger Delta. It is here that a story began, a story of resistance, redemption, and rebirth. A story of one man who rose from the swamps of obscurity to become one of Nigeria's most controversial and influential figures. His name, Government Ekpemupolo, but the world knows him simply as Tompolo. But behind the legend, behind the myth and the mystery lies a story far deeper than the one you've heard, a story of rebellion. Born Government Ekpemupolo in Gbaramatu Kingdom, Warri, southwest of Delta State, in 1971. Tompolo's journey did not start with guns or power. It started with pain of seeing his people live in poverty while their land produced billions in oil revenue, where the wealth extracted from his homeland brought little development to the people who lived there. To many in the Delta, oil was not a blessing, it was a curse wrapped in promises never kept. Polluted rivers, empty schools, silent hospitals, a generation watched as billions flowed from their soil into federal accounts, while their villages remained forgotten. For Tompolo, his reality planted a seed, one that would grow into defiance. He came of age during Nigeria's oil boom and political instability, witnessing firsthand how government neglect turned young men into rebels and fishermen into fighters.
This is the pipeline. If you people can think you can come, I come and see. Then you see the end justify the means. And nobody, if you do not give the contract to the original indigenous of the community, you will not, this contract will not work. It's not as if we don't know what you're doing. But it's a threat. Hear it. NNPC, hear it. Federal government, hear it.
Jibril Silva, Mio Boyo Baram, Kalia Iku, Inangimini. God, one Adabuma, Chatmi, Naya Montuametera, Imo Wabsati. It's a Ibo official activity. Million, everybody, Saturnia, Eshamamio, Eshay Pemio, Nebe Pemio, Calabari Pemio, Bobella Patamonoki.
By the late 1990s, whispers of resistance began to echo through the creeks. The youth of the Niger Delta were restless, demanding what they believed was theirs, a fair share of the wealth beneath their feet. From a young man who simply wanted justice, Tompolo became the face of a movement and eventually the most wanted man in Nigeria.
I want to start by telling you that we are contributing 10 billion to this country. And we want to simply, as a chief launcher, that we all approach this with sincerity.
And how did a boy from the creeks become one of Nigeria's most powerful figures? And how did he go from being haunted to being honored? This is the untold story of Tompolo. In 1998, he became associated with the newly formed Ijaw Youth Council, and out of that storm came MEND, the militant group movements for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, a time when oil money flowed like water, but the Niger Delta bled. Pollution, broken promises, and political betrayal created a storm. Over time, he became a high-ranking commander in MEND, mobilizing fighters, speedboats, and weapons. One scholar described him as one of the most important militant figures within the Niger Delta conflict. Militancy became the language of frustration. Tompolo rose as a key commander, not for power but for purpose. He led thousands of young men, determined to take control of their land and their future. Groups formed across Bayelsa, Rivers, and Delta states, each claiming to fight for justice, equity, and control over their resources. He became a central figure in the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta MEND, a coalition that would shake the foundation of Nigeria's oil industry. Oil pipelines were attacked, flow stations were shut down, multinational companies fled. For the first time, the Nigerian government could no longer ignore the cries from the creeks. To some, Tompolo was a hero, a Robin Hood of the Delta State. To others, he was a threat to national stability.
A recent contract awarded by the federal government to Government Ekpemupolo, popularly known as Tompolo, has caused a series of disagreements among different militant groups in Niger Delta. Yesterday, leaders from different groups in Rivers and Bayelsa State had a closed-door meeting in the swamp and came up with the following resolution.
This message is for Timothy Silva. What you are trying to do in Niger Delta, you want to cause chaos, especially in Nigeria. What you are trying to do, it won't work for you because we won't take it. Because what you are trying to do, you try to set confusion. NCTL line has 90-something kilometers, and a particular community has 83 kilometers in it. You did not give any of them the job, and you went and took this job to somebody who is in a prosa to give him the job because you want to connect with him and eat the money. When we have the lives of the former IBC president, Tokobo Alhaji Asari is there, Ashif Ateketom is there, you did not give to them. But let me tell you, I, General Empe, even if the leaders accept it, me, I will not accept it. Because you tried it in oil and gas, and you succeed, we did not talk to you. You think we are David Leon that you took into politics, and after he lost his election, you took over his contract and give it to your brother Kojo so that he can be getting cuts out of it. My brother, let me tell you, you cannot try it. Because if you try it, it will swallow you. But let me tell you, this is the pipeline. If you people can think you can come, I come and see. Then you see the end justify the means. And nobody, if you do not give the contract to the original indigenous of the community, you will not, this contract will not work. It's not as if we don't know what you are doing. But it's a threat. Hear it. NNPC, hear it. Federal government, hear it.
Tibre Silva, Miaboyo, Baram, Kalia Iku, Enangimini. God, one Adabuma, Chatmi, Naya Montuama, Taraimo, Wabsati. It's a Ibo official activity na million. Everybody Saturnia. Ne Shamamio, Esha Pemio, Neve Pemio, Calabari Pemio, Bobella Pakamono, na Wabo, and I'm also making Yarayu, and I'm also mommy. But a lie that Pene, and me and Okayamio, and Embarasia. Damio Boyami, Calabari Pemio, over Lata Ogu Pemini 90-something kilometer. Mio Calabari Pemi 83 kilometers an hour. And the Calabari Pemi Ori attack at Tom Kakurota Kumota in the Tatmi pipeline in the Gimbo.
But beneath the headlines and gunfire, something deeper was unfolding, a negotiation for respect, a demand for recognition, a call for justice. But every bullet fired had a consequence. The government responded with force. Helicopters, gunboats, military raids, villages were destroyed, lives lost. By 2009, Tompolo became Nigeria's most wanted man. His name was headline news. Militant commander declared fugitive. But what many did not see was the man in hiding, calling for peace while the nation called for war. It was a turning point, one that would shape the future of the Niger Delta and of Tompolo himself. By 2009, the guns had gone silent, not because the struggle was over, but because Tompolo made a choice that would change not just his life, but the destiny of an entire region. Then, President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua made a bold move, the Presidential Amnesty Program. It offered militants a chance to disarm, be rehabilitated, and reintegrated into society in exchange for peace.
The offer of amnesty is predicated on the willingness and readiness of the militants to give up all illegal arms in their possession, completely renounce militancy willingly and unconditionally, and depose to an undertaking to this effect. It is my fervent hope that all militants in the Niger Delta will take advantage of this amnesty and come out to join in the quest for the transformation of our dear nation.
Tompolo accepted. For many, this was the moment the war in the creeks began to fade. Boats once used for combat now carried messages of peace. Former fighters traded rifles for training certificates. The Niger Delta began its slow journey toward healing. But for Tompolo, amnesty was not surrender. It was simply transformation. He shifted from being a militant commander to a mediator, from a symbol of rebellion to an architect of peace. He accepted the government's amnesty program, a deal that promised peace in exchange for disarmament. And for the first time, the man who once led an armed resistance became a key voice for peace. But peace did not come cheap. Many doubted his sincerity. Some called him a sellout, others a visionary. He chose not to fight with weapons anymore, but with enterprise. He turned his influence into industry, his networks into negotiation. From 2010 onward, Tompolo began to channel his influence into business and security. He founded Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, TSSL, a company tasked with protecting Nigeria's oil pipelines and combating crude oil theft. It was a strategic transition, turning what was once an instrument of conflict into a force for protection.
I would also like to seize this opportunity to let Nigerians know that those who campaign against the private security companies in participating in this fight against oil theft are the bunkers. But we will not relent. We will continue to be resilient, and we will definitely assist the country in resolving this. Assist also the Nigerian security forces who are happy to participate in securing our assets to do this job.
Under his leadership, Tantita became one of Nigeria's most effective security contractors, credited with reducing oil theft and illegal bunkering across the Niger Delta.
How long does it take to move this?
Yes, I'm sure that the tide is coming up.
Please, can you just give us that? So what we do, let's walk over Zoom. That's like we've seen this.
Yes.
Can we ask questions? Yes, no question. Is there anything you want to tell us? Let's go to the next.
Yes, sir. What do you do? Just ask a question.
Let's go to the other point.
Okay, so just to ask you, you said you've noticed that this was on the line. How long do you think this has been? When did you notice this?
Okay, we just on last weekend.
Okay, last weekend. But so if you look at this 24 inches pipeline,
yes,
you can see that because of the coatings,
yes,
it has not rusted. So it tells you the capacity and the nature of this kind of pipe. Now, if you look at this,
yeah,
this is not something that happened 1 year ago. From the rusty nature of the nuts, bolts, and all of that,
it doesn't look like anything that has happened less than 7 to 10 years. If you look at the rustiness of this, and okay, so but it's not 1 year. It can be 1 year rustiness.
Today, TSSL employs thousands, former militants, local youth, and trained security experts, giving structure and purpose to a once displaced generation. For the federal government, this partnership was not just practical, it was symbolic. The same man who once challenged the state had become a guardian of its most valuable resource. Soon, he became a contractor for pipeline surveillance, working to secure the same oil infrastructure he once attacked. The government realized something profound. No one understood the Niger Delta like Tompolo. From rebel to protector, from fugitive to force of stability, it was the birth of a new Tompolo, the businessman. Before we continue, a quick word from the people behind this production. Update People TV. We believe in the power of African storytelling. We don't just report stories, we build platforms that create opportunity. To all our partners, sponsors, and supporters, we say thank you. Your belief in African media excellence allows us to tell the stories that matter most. If you're a brand, business, or creator looking to sponsor, advertise, or collaborate, we'd love to work with you. We also offer top-tier digital and media services, from content creation and YouTube management to digital strategy and creator training. Because here at Update People TV, we don't just report headlines, we create opportunities. In recent years, Tompolo's Tantita Security Services has been at the heart of Nigeria's oil recovery mission. With Nigeria losing billions annually to illegal bunkering, Tantita's role became vital, patrolling waterways, dismantling illegal refineries, and ensuring that crude oil flows legally to the global market. Federal authorities praised his efficiency. Oil companies acknowledged the results, but his resurgence also stirred political curiosity. How did a man once on the run become the government's most reliable partner in protecting its lifeblood? The answer lies in trust, a rare currency in the Niger Delta. Tompolo had earned it from his people, from the system, and from a country learning to value homegrown solutions. Beyond the headlines, Tompolo invests heavily in peace and people. He funds education, vocational programs, and community projects throughout Gbaramatu and neighboring areas. Once feared, he is now a bridge between traditional rulers, youth, and government agencies. His foundation focuses on skills acquisition, training former militants in welding, marine operations, ICT, and small-scale enterprise. Each story is a testament to the power of transformation, from conflict to construction, from division to development.
The Tompolo Foundation basically cater for the less privileged in the society, and these people you found in the rural areas. And we all know the problem with teachers moving to some of these rural areas. What we are trying to do is to impact teaching skills to our core members for them to go to the rural areas. Over the years, we have been given a stipend to core members who will support you with transport, accommodation, and of course a stipend, a monthly stipend, to be able to move freely to those rural areas and carry out their job.
The schools in the rural area are staffed of teachers, and so in so many states is the youth corps members that are posted to those rural schools to teach. Now, what do you find? There's a vacuum when they are teaching. You can only teach when you are taught as a teacher. Tompolo Foundation is trying to, those of them who do not have that teaching experience, to sharpen their skills, to equip them, so that when they go to any of these schools they find themselves, they will know the environment and apply the right method to teach.
Through this effort, Tompolo has not only rebuilt his image, he has reshaped the destiny of thousands. Away from politics and power, Tompolo remains deeply spiritual and private. He rarely grants interviews, preferring his work to speak for him. Those close to him describe him as a man of discipline, generosity, and deep cultural pride. His commitment to the Ijaw nation remains strong as an agitator, but as a custodian of his identity. From organizing traditional festivals to supporting youth dialogues, he sees leadership not as domination, but as service. And yet, his legacy remains a work in progress, a reminder that transformation is possible when dialogue replaces violence and when purpose transcends power. The Niger Delta still bears scars, but amidst those scars lies a new story, one of resilience, rebirth, and redemption. This is not just the story of one man, it's the story of a nation learning to heal itself.